Merry Christmas, everyone. Way to mess up an intro. Welcome to this Christmas special where I, Luke Filmboss, will be ranking the top 10 best Christmas movies of all time, according to me, from worst to best. So bundle up next to a nice warm fire with a cup of hot cocoa and get ready to find out what movies you should check out this holiday season if you haven't already. In 10th place is The Santa Claus 2 with an overall score of 80%. I know that most people prefer the first Santa Claus movie, but I honestly preferred the second one a little bit more. This movie has some really good humor. Some of it's strange, just weird humor that doesn't really advance the plot, but some of it's just very clever and just so hilarious that it makes you like the movie more. And I think that this had a much more developed story. It does what a sequel needs to do. It expands the world. It brings in bigger problems, and one of those problems being this movie's very own villain. And just everything about this movie I feel like was just a step up from the first film, and it had just as much Christmas cheer and fun, joy to make it a worthwhile film, and it just breaks into the top 10. And in the number 9 spot is Home Alone with an 82%.
Wait a minute. He only ranked Home Alone at number 9? I'm not watching this video anymore. That's the best Christmas movie of all time. Yeah.
Now seems like as good of a time as any to tell you all that this list will probably be very controversial amongst most people. And that's okay. We don't all have to agree on every single film. Filmmaking is an art form, and art is perceived differently by every person. This is just my list. It's not necessarily the list. Back to Home Alone, I give this movie an 82%. I think it's really good and fun, and it's just honestly a blast to watch. I think everybody should watch it at least once in their life. It has its problems, but it has a lot, and I mean a lot of strong moments that definitely make this a top 10 film. Do I think it's the best? No, obviously not. It's in 9th place. But is it good? Yeah, it's really good. In 8th place is The Christmas Candle with an 83%. Now, most of you have probably never heard about this movie before, but I'm here to tell you that this is a very solid, powerful Christmas movie that talks about the power of miracles, community, and prayer. It's definitely worth a watch. It's very emotional, but yet fun. It's just well worth the watch. Go check it out. In 7th place is How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the one with Jim Carrey. I give it an 85%. I just think that this film is a bizarre, fun, entertaining ride. And yes, it has a lot of crude humor, which was kind of bound to happen in a live-action telling of the Grinch story starring Jim Carrey. But this film still has the heart of the animated Christmas special.
Max! Help me! I'm feeling...
Even amongst all of the crude jokes, this movie still knows that it's about Christmas. There's a lot of good setups and payoffs that lead to some heartwarming moments, and the message is conveyed rather well. This movie is gross and a bit obnoxious, but in the end, it's still a good Christmas movie. Just edging out The Grinch for the number 6 spot is Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, 2018 with an 86%. This movie captures the heart and charm of the original 20-some minute Christmas special a little bit better than the live-action film did, mostly due to the fact that it's targeted more towards children and it's animated. This film is just really fun. It modernizes and expands the story in a much needed way to make it relevant. But what makes this movie better than the live action? Well, there's a few things, but for me, it's the fact that this film touched me a little bit more. I legitimately cried when I saw the child Grinch as an orphan being left out of Christmas. This is so sad. It's too sad. Time to go to number 5. Number 5 is The Polar Express. No! No, no, no! That movie stinks! This guy's a lunatic! It's come to my attention over the years that while there are quite a few people who do like this movie, a lot of people despise this film. But I give it an 86%. Now, I don't quite enjoy this film as much as I do the two Grinches, but I think that this movie is quite an achievement. I think that it is better than those two films, both in story and in production value. It's acting, the voice acting, the animation is unique, and the story is a pretty good Christmas story. It's creative, and it does pretty much everything right. A few hiccups along the way, yeah. This movie is actually pretty good, though. What's that? You watched it too many times on repeat as a kid? Okay. But it's still a good movie. You just don't like it. In 4th place is White Christmas with an 88%. I must have just grown up this year because while I liked this movie in the past, this is the first year that I realized how great this movie is. This movie is a very genius way of blending regular movie storytelling into a musical format while also incorporating musical theater into it. It's just very fun and entertaining. It's a very good Christmas movie, a very good Christmas story. But this really isn't just a Christmas movie either. When you really look at the story, it has almost nothing to do with Christmas. It's about making a retired army general feel loved and appreciated for everything that he did. Everything about this movie is special. Not everything is spot on, but almost everything is. I might get into this movie more sometime in the future because it deserves it, but this movie is just a very fun, wild ride that everyone who loves music, who loves Christmas, who loves movies should watch this. Rounding out the bottom of the top 3 is A Christmas Story with a 90%. Now, this might not be the most heartwarming Christmas movie on the list, but this movie is hilarious and fun, but what makes it stand out the most is its memorability. Everything from the leg lamp to getting his mouth washed out with soap, from beating up the bully to the Santa Claus and the elves pushing the kids down the slide, from eating the Christmas dinner at a Chinese restaurant and shooting his eye with the Red Ryder BB gun. Everything in this movie is special and fun and memorable. It just leaves an impression on you, and it makes this one of the best Christmas movies of all time. In 2nd place is The Muppets Christmas Carol with a 91%. Now, there's been a lot of retellings of The Christmas Carol, but the only one to break into this top 10 is The Muppets Christmas Carol. And this is honestly one of the best Christmas movies of all time. Not just the best Christmas Carol, it's almost the best Christmas movie of all time. The songs are amazing. The story is the same, but the characters just make it so much fun, so enjoyable, and the acting really connects you to the story and the characters. This movie is amazing, to be honest, and it's probably, in my opinion, the best Muppet movie out there, and almost the best Christmas movie. Before I give you my number 1 pick, I just want to give a shout out to some honorable mentions that you should go check out. Elf, the Santa Claus, A Christmas Carol, the 1980s version, The Nativity Story, and The Star. These are all pretty fun, very good Christmas movies that are definitely worth a watch. With that, let's get to the number 1 pick. And in 1st place is The Santa Claus 3, the best Christmas movie of all time. This movie is amazing. It's hilarious, but yet heartwarming. Everything about it is great, and Jack Frost is one of the greatest movie villains of all time. That was a joke. This movie is hot garbage. Everybody, go boycott the Santa Claus 3, except it's too late for that. But it's not like anybody saw it in the first place, so good for you. Let's get to the real number one movie. In first place is It's a Wonderful Life with a 96%. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of the best movies of all time. And it's not like a movie that I would want to watch at any time during the year. But when it gets to the month of December, the Christmas holiday, there is no other movie that I would rather watch than this movie. The story is so timeless. It's so personal and emotional and relevant. This movie was made back in the 30s or the 40s, and the story is still relevant for anybody today at any time. That everyone's life matters. Everyone's life touches the lives of so many others. This movie is so great. The acting is amazing and just really connects you with the story and the characters. There is so much that can be said about this movie. It is timeless. This movie is emotional. It's amazing. It's profound. It's powerful. This movie is one of Hollywood's biggest, most monumental achievements of all time, and it takes the number one spot for best Christmas movie of all time. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your top 10 Christmas movies of all time are down in the comments. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.